Hello, welcome back to another devlog. Here we are with devlog number 3. As you could tell, probably a lot of things are looking different from the last devlog that we did. The first noticeable things is the UI. I've been doing a lot of UI work this past week, and you can see we have like our player frame up there on the top left with some kind of placeholders right now. We also have a new action bar, and I'll show you a little bit more in depth kind of how those work and stuff. But that was definitely one of the main focuses this week, is getting some of the UI things implemented. You can also tell the world looks a little bit different too. I've been playing around with the lighting, which I'm still not super happy with. You can tell the shadows are a little darker than I really want them to be, so I'm still playing with the lighting, so we still have a ways to go on that. But yeah, I'm just experimenting with the feel of it in the environment too. You can see I built a little house right here. Here's another one over there, but I made a little house. Then I also have an inn that you can tell I am still completely working on because it's not put together. But yeah, so I'm doing a little bit of building as well. You notice the cursor is different now too. This cursor is like a quill or a feather that you would use for, like, you know, writing letters, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to go with for the cursor. I knew I wanted some kind of cursor, but I wasn't sure what. And honestly, this quill is kind of growing on me. At first I thought it was kind of big and bulky and, you know, kind of goofy looking, but it's sort of growing on me. So let me know what you think, what kind of cursor you'd like to see. So let's dive into the UI just a little bit farther, then we'll talk about some other things as well. So as you can see here, we have the action bar and the player frame. That is super awesome. I also have a target frame here when I target somebody. The portrait is not up and running yet. I did implement like a super basic version of it, but it was not working properly. And basically what's gonna happen is there's going to be a little camera that takes a photo of your player, like a portrait like this, and it's gonna populate that, and it'll get populated every time that your character logs in and every time that you equip a new piece of gear. So that'll get updated. So if you put on a new helmet, your portrait will get updated as well. Same thing is going to be with the target. As you can tell, it's still, you know, I have some work to do on what it's filling out here for like the name and stuff, but you kind of get the point. It's going to do the same thing for the target as well. I also changed the color of the health. I changed it to green. I think I like green better. I'll make the bars actually have a little bit different texture rather than this just flat color, but I do kind of like the flat just for a placeholder. And then another big thing that was huge this week is we did a lot of design work, and honestly some of the new devlogs that are going to be coming up, we'll talk a lot about design and how we're going to design the world, because so much of that hangs on how we actually implement it in the game. Man, there's just so much to talk about. Like I said last time too, every second of free time that I have is spent working on this game, whether it's physically like actually building the parts out, you know, in Photoshop doing artwork, you know, just editing the artwork that I'm getting. Literally just every second. I'm also designing every second that I have, so I'm having a ton of fun, and I definitely want to hear suggestions from you guys, what you think and what you ultimately want to see in a game. Okay, so some of the things we've been designing, we have a bunch of skills that I've been designing, and I'm building out kits right now, and I guess this will be kind of a big reveal right here. As you probably know, the focus is going to be kind of like a WoW Runescape blend. That's the two major MMOs that we're going for, although I want to take elements from all different kinds of MMOs. But I think that's kind of the what's it called, foundation and the bones of our MMO. And so with that, we know we were going to do a class system, and we were going to have different classes, and you choose a class when you create your character. Well, another thing that I've implemented here is kind of a GM window. I'll give you a peek into that. Basically, I'll bring it up right now. Oh, nice. So our game crashed when I brought it up, so give me a second to bring it back up. All right, third time's the charm. Sorry, game keeps crashing. Obviously, there's a bug that has to do with this GM window, so I'm just gonna do this really quickly. Here's the GM window. You can see here are the different classes that we have. We have a Knight, Mage, Shade, which is like a rogue. I'll come to these two in a minute. Pathfinder, which is like a range or a hunter. Naturalist, which is going to be healer focused, but also able to cast like nature spells. And then we have Heretic, which is going to be like a dark mage. So those are the main classes. Oh, and then these two at the bottom, you can see we have Ascendant with something in parentheses and Mourner, which is something in parentheses. So basically a big hint here is that we're going to have two factions. The faction 1 is going to be called Valor, and faction 2 is going to be called Thorn. Now, each one of these classes is going to be specific to that faction. Right now, I'm thinking they're going to work similarly. They'll be able to heal, but also cast spells. Maybe think of it kind of like a priest in World of Warcraft. But they'll get kind of their own flavors, and it's kind of the high level right now. But this is what I'm thinking for classes. Let me know what you think about the two factions. But yeah, the lore I've been building out as well, and it has to do with the names of these classes, Ascendant and Mourner. So that's kind of like a little hint for you. But yeah, more on that to come. So as you can see here, also here I can grant myself XP, heal up. I can also spawn in different items and currency. So right now we'll go ahead and hit the Knight class, and this is the class that I have the most flushed out right now with the most abilities and stuff. So you'll see here down the action bar we have all our different abilities. Now I don't know if these are the final icons I'm going with, maybe not, but as you can see, it's taken a lot of work just to get to this point. But one of the systems that I was working on was being able to switch the icons by clicking and dragging. So I got that working finally. You can see the icons still have a little bit of an overlap with the borders. UI work is it's a lot of work, but we're getting there. I'm gonna open up the spell book now, so you can see here is the spell book for the Knight. This window is very tiny, very scuffed, but it just gives you a sneak peek. You probably can't see that because it's so small right now, but it's showing 3 out of 16 abilities are unlocked. Right now, abilities will unlock as you level up. This main combat level here, you can see I'm level 1. So if I go ahead and I can see the 3 abilities I have in here now, auto attack is just a basic auto attack. And I have kind of a resource builder and then a resource spender. So you'll notice when I switch to a Knight class, my mana went away and now it's sitting at 0 out of 100. Well, for the Knight, the resource is going to be called Resolve, and it's going to work very similarly to Rage in WoW, Rage for Warriors. So I basically have a Resolve builder with this ability and a Resolve spender with this ability. So that is my slash. You'll also see I can click and drag that off, and I will bring slash down here for number 3. And I'll go demonstrate it real quick on like a wolf or something. We'll go to this deer. So I'm going to turn on my auto attack with 1. You can see I'm in a stance. I don't have a weapon equipped right now, but I'm punching him. Nothing's getting built. I'm going to hit 2, and you'll see here, okay, it's starting to build some resolve. I kind of killed him before I was able to build up enough resolve. Here, let's go over to this wolf here. I'm not going to auto attack. I'm just going to hew and build up some resolve. So you can see abilities are in yellow as well. I'm going to press 2 again, one more time. Now I have 32, and I'm going to spend it here with my slash. Bam, spent it. It did more damage as well, and I'll finish him off with a hew. So that was some of the things I've been designing, is what these abilities are ultimately going to do. I don't know if I want to keep the resolve builder and then have spenders. I don't know if I want resolve to be built up on auto attacks and when my character takes damage. Maybe a combo of all 3. Obviously balancing is gonna get done in the future and everything, but that is the 2 main abilities right now that I have, you know, publicly available. Like I said, I have 16 abilities built out right now for the night. You can see these other icons that are implemented. They might kind of give you hints at what those abilities are by looking at them. But yeah, I'm still definitely working through all the kits. Like I said, if I bring this up again, Mage is pretty fleshed out. I think I have about 15 abilities. And then everything else, it's still pretty ground, like starting at the starting point. So yeah, that's where we are with the abilities and the kits. I've been doing a lot of like, you know, going over how I want damage to be dealt, how resources going to be used, how it's going to be gained, how much resource all these abilities cost. There's a lot going into it. So I've been working a lot on the design of the ability system. Now, in parallel with the ability system, I've also been working on the skills system, which is going to equally be just as important in this game. So like I said earlier, WoW RuneScape crossover. I'm going to pull up the skills menu now. Keep in mind all the windows still look very scuffed, but here you go. Here is the skills window showing all of the skills that I have come up with so far. The icons are still very tiny. Everything looks very scuffed still. I realize that, but I'm getting everything implemented still. This is just, you know, it's been just over a week since the last devlog, so there's been a lot of progress, a lot of bugs fixed on top of it as well. Like you probably saw the game crash when I tried to show the GM window, but here we are with the skills. So how many do I have here? I have 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 skills so far that I have come up with and designed XP, how I want it to level up. What's probably going to happen is you will have a combat level that will be shown on your main target portrait right here. And that will be kind of leveled up separate from these skills. You can level the combat level up by just doing quests, by killing mobs. I'm thinking maybe even just by doing damage, you'll gain some sort of XP, kind of like if you were building up strength and attack and defense in RuneScape. But also I want you to get XP towards your combat level. Now for max level, honestly, I'm thinking level 50 is what I'm gonna be going for. That's kind of gonna be the max level, I believe, but obviously everything is subject to change. The skills, I really have been thinking about skills, what level and how the leveling is supposed to go. Let me know what you think the skills, how they should be leveled up, and maybe what like a max level would look like. Also drop in the comments skills that you are excited to see. What skills do you want to see implemented in the game? Some of these probably look very familiar. Some of them probably look very new. Let's just say I'm very excited for what's to come. There's so much to do, so much to keep building, and I'm having just an absolute blast. Let me show you just real quick. Also, we have our character pane here. It's gonna show, you know, all the equipment, weapons, and there will be the window preview of your character. So it'll show your character with all his weapons and gear and everything. It'll have your name and title. And then what else do we have? The inventory here. These are still subject to change, just like everything, and I know I keep repeating myself, but here is the inventory. One thing I also worked on, which you're not going to be able to see here, if I go to try to spawn this sword right here and hit +1, you'll see on the top left, I spawned an iron sword in-game, but my inventory is kind of broken right now. It's not spawning in my inventory, which it was in the first iteration. Ever since I've been trying to implement some of this UI, because I was tired of just looking at gray boxes, it kind of broke. So that's another thing I am currently trying to fix. So just so I don't keep rambling here, just to show you a couple other things too, I made a river, and there's also a little lake over there, but I absolutely love this water system. I think it looks really good. Probably gonna make some changes, but overall I really like it right now. And no swimming animation either, as you can tell. I was playing with these trees a little bit too, and in the back over here you probably see some cliffs, so I'm thinking about lining the walls with cliffs. That way it doesn't just look like a big dirt mound going up in the sky. And also, this is a big mountain over here in the background. You can kind of see. I'll probably maybe try to implement some cliffs over there as well. Let me see. What else do we got here? Oh, one of the bug fixes that you probably didn't even realize in my last video, if you go back and look, the trees now have proper textures on them. The trees in the last devlog, all the bark was just black, and I actually didn't even realize it until I published the video. So I fixed that. There was just a issue, basically, was the whole level was too far, like close to being at 0. I had to basically just raise everything up. It's a weird little quirk. So what else have I done? We talked about the skills, all the skills that I have been designing, the XP system, the math, how that's going to work out. I showed you the classes and the abilities. Let me know how you think the skills should work, and if you have, what ideas you have. And I really like old school RuneScape's system for how the skilling works. I think everything else I've covered. I did make the inventory system. I still have to fix that. I started implementing some of the equipment and weapons and the abilities you saw. No more new animations yet. That is going to be a huge focus coming up, because ultimately we want the combat to feel amazing. But I was just getting some more of the foundations built here. And yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for this devlog. Hopefully you like the changes that have been coming, and stick around to see some more of the changes. Follow me on all the socials if you want to see updates, some more behind the scenes of what's going on. But most importantly, let me know what you want to see. I want to know what you want in an MMO, because I'm building this how I think an MMO should be, and what I think would be the absolute most fun. So thank you again for hanging out, and I will see you guys in the next devlog. Later.